The Scenic Hall of Languages shows Syracuse University at its most scenic, but the Brown lacrosse team is visiting the Carrier Dome.
Well, it's always an adventure. I think you have to get mentally prepared for their style of play and just their attitude. You know, they're so confident. It doesn't matter what happened last game. It doesn't matter, you know, how good you are or how good they are. They're so confident. And in this building, I think they're different.
But 1994 has been different for the Orange Men at home. First a loss to Virginia that snapped a 21-game home winning streak. Then a loss to Johns Hopkins, a game Roy Simmons Jr. missed with pneumonia.
Yeah, it wasn't any fun. I heard the kids did a good job on the radio. The jury's still out on that one. I listened from the emergency room the last time we were in the Dome, and that was unique for me. Number one, to listen to the game, but not to be here. And hopefully that's one and only time.
Super Sports, the Cable Ace Award-winning production of Adelphia Cable Communications, presents NCAA Lacrosse from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. This afternoon, it's the Brown Bears against the Syracuse Orange Men. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dan Horton, along with Dale Drypolcher. We are delighted to have you watching our Super Sports coverage of SU Lacrosse. This afternoon, the fourth-ranked Orangemen take on another tough opponent, number 9 Brown, coming off an impressive win coming into the Dome today.
Well, they upset Loyola last week, and talking to the SU players, went to a scrimmage the other night, a bunch of players, they said this is a quality team, they're well coached. They emphasize that. This is a well-coached team. Syracuse is going to have its hands full, and I hope that they're going to come out and be aggressive. That's what they're going to have to be to beat this team.
Both of these teams made it to the Final Four last year. In fact, both lost on Saturday. Syracuse not expecting to lose in that game. Brown, I think, a little bit more happy just to make it to the Final Four. But Brown is a tough team, and as Brown comes into the Carrier Dome today, head coach Peter Lasagna knows he has the guns to give the Orangemen a game.
I would say if you're scouting us, you probably figure that you have to stop David Evans first. He was a first-team All-American as a sophomore, which I don't think has ever happened at Brown before. A couple of his attack mates, Brian McNally, who also had a great year for us last year and is having a very good season right now. Robin Prince, Chris DiBiase on the attack. And then in the midfield, we've really sort of loaded up our first midfield with Chris Martinelli, Alex Goodman, and James Gainsbauer. And we've got some pretty good guys, I think, we've got some depth in the midfield. But again, to survive a game like this, some of those guys are going to have to step forward. We can't just keep throwing one midfield.
Well, Coach Lasagna talked about his midfielders there, and as we saw in the Johns Hopkins game, midfielders are going to be a key to try to knock off Syracuse.
I think that's true, and I think Syracuse has to play good, solid midfield defense. If the ball goes down, they're going to have to turn around, play defense, and run with the people. I think the defense, the close defense, has to play a little bit more cohesive as a unit than they have so far. They're tightening up. They're getting that goals per game down a little bit. This is going to be a real key for the defense, Dan.
All right, we've heard the scouting report from Coach Lasagna on his team. Now we'll hear from Syracuse head coach Roy Simmons Jr. as he talks about the weapons that Brown has.
David Evans is probably one of the premier attackmen in the country. And a kid that gave us a fit last year at Penn is transferred to Brown in the midfield. So we're well aware of their talent, and they're a good team. It's going to be a great game.
Well, let's hope Coach Simmons is right. We're looking for a good game between Syracuse and Brown. They had a great one last year in Providence. We'll see if we have another one today here in Syracuse. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the opening face-off in a moment on Super Sports. Dan Horton, Dale Drypolcher back at the Dome. Syracuse at 3-2, Brown at 2-2. Both teams coming off good wins. Let's get right to the starting lineups for today's game. The goalie for Brown, Greg Catrano. We saw his name briefly. At attack, David Evans, the big gun for the Bears, Brian McNally, and Chris DiBiase. James Gainsbauer, Chris Martinelli, and Alex Goodman. At midfield, Eric Benedict is the face-off specialist. At defense, Dennis Sullivan, Kevin Brainey, who's from the Syracuse area, and Dennis Fitzgibbons. And there again, Greg Catrano, the sophomore goalie for Brown. He's replacing a second-team All-American in Jay Stolfert, now an assistant coach with Brown. Catrano saving 64% of the shots on goal to this point of the season. Taking a look at Syracuse. At attack for the Orangemen, Jim Morrissey, Rob Kavovit, and freshman Casey Powell, who leads Syracuse in goals to this point with 14. At the midfield, Roy Colsey, Mark Fietta, and Nick Licamelli, Toby Price, a face-off specialist, although Syracuse has been using several so far. At defense, 3 senior stars, Chad Smith, Hans Schmidt, and Rick Beardsley. Alex Rozier in goal, and Rozier saving 61% of the shots on goal to this point of the season and giving up about 10 goals a game. We're happy to have Roy Simmons Jr. back on the sidelines at the Carrier Dome today after spending about 3 or 4 days in the hospital with a case of double pneumonia. Roy says he is following doctor's orders and taking it easy since coming back. The officials today led by Bill Ellis, who is our referee. Toby Price indeed will take the opening faceoff for Syracuse, and Toby Price wins the opening faceoff for Syracuse. The Orangemen in the home white, Brown in those lovely color combinations of the brown shirt and the red shorts. Syracuse with a 2-game Dome losing streak after winning 21 straight in the Dome. First shot of the game taken by Roy Colsey, and it goes wide. And Colsey's shooting percentage is way down this season.
I think he's struggling a little bit. We mentioned that I think he forced a couple of shots in some games. Let's see what he does this game. He's going to get a...
That's a Rob Cavavit on the feed from Casey Powell. And this is interesting, Dale, because we were just starting to talk about Colsey, who has only scored on 17% of his shots this season. Cavavit, the opposite, coming into the game an unbelievable 75%. And with that goal, Cavavit has 10 goals on 13 shots this season.
Very efficient, and the guy that gives him that pass, Casey Powell, did a great job of handing off the assist, and as you said, Cavavit, very, very effective. Now, Syracuse have a little problem early in the season, I think, with faceoffs. They're going to get 2 in a row here. This one via the penalty route, procedure penalty against Brown. They started too soon, so Syracuse first 2 faceoffs. You want to set the tone here, come up with another goal, and one of the problems I think they had against Hopkins the last game that we did on television was the fact that when they needed faceoffs, they couldn't get them. When they did, they evened up and they played pretty well, but faceoffs could very well tell the story today.
Of course, against Hopkins, you're talking about faceoff specialist Kevin Jacobs, who does that to every team in the country.
Absolutely.
And the top-ranked Blue Jays were winners today over number 2 Maryland. So Hopkins will stay on top of the polls. Syracuse has a chance to pass Maryland with a win today. Roy Colsey with a ball for Syracuse. He shoots and scores. Roy Colsey with his first goal of the afternoon. We've played 1 minute and 9 seconds. It's 2-0 Syracuse.
Well, Rosicki was on him, number 2. Right there, he's getting a hold on him, but Colsey comes back left-handed and takes the high shot, left-handed goalie, and he handcuffs him right on the offside, and he could not get there in time. So Colsey efficiency just shot up a lot. He's 1 for 1. And I think that's the stuff that they told him to do. They said, look, your percentage isn't there. Don't take fewer shots, take better shots. I think that's exactly what he did there.
Third face-off of the game was won by Brown, but Chad Smith, one of Syracuse's excellent takeaway defensemen, did exactly that and took the ball away. Here come the Orangemen, and it's Rick Beardsley. And looked like Syracuse is offside.
I don't know where they're offside. Well, that's the way it'll stay, I guess. I looked up quickly. There were 4 guys there, but hey, I'm not down on the field. And they generally don't miss stuff like that. So Syracuse play a little midfield defense now. They bring it across. Brown sets up.
Syracuse leading 2-0, a little bit less than 2 minutes into the game. Brown had Syracuse on the ropes last year before the Orangemen rallied in the last quarter to win 14-12. Charlie Lockwood, who of course has since graduated from Syracuse, led the way with 4 goals last year. And Brown standout David Evans, who is only a junior, had 5 goals against Syracuse last year. Evans is number 16. Hasn't had the ball yet. Alex Goodman with the ball for the Brown Bears, a transfer from Penn. Played well against Syracuse while he was with the Quakers. Chris Martinelli with it now, perhaps the best all-around midfielder for Brown. And it goes back to James Gainsbauer, another excellent midi. Gainsbauer, a senior tri-captain. Gainsbauer makes his move. And he's hit by Mike Wittick, loses the ball. Wittick tries to get his feet in front of Gainsbauer to pick it up, and he winds up getting it forward to teammate Toby Price. Crossfield to Chad Smith, and a big stick will take it upfield.
going to give that up now, and I think Syracuse will settle it down while they get the big sticks back over, and Kavovit takes it behind, gives it off to another attack man while they get people on.
Syracuse getting Dave Signor and Paul Sullivan into the offensive end. Syracuse with the ball and a 2-0 lead. Jim Morrissey being whacked at by Dennis Fitzgibbons. Gives it up to Dave Signor. The West Jenny product shoots. Bounce shot goes wide. Rob Kavovit in position behind the cage for Syracuse.
Good backup, and they start right away. You see them set. Syracuse a little bit out from the crease from where they were before, but now they're running cutters off the top. Now one-on-one.
4-0 in shots. Syracuse with the advantage. Morrissey with a quick shot and a goal. 3-0 Syracuse, and we have not played 4 minutes.
Very good efficiency, and Syracuse had Morrissey open. He takes the left-handed quick stick, and just too much for Catrano. He just can't adjust that quickly. You see it in slow motion, it doesn't look too bad, but watch it in fast motion. You'll see the net ripple. That wasn't the best angle of it, but believe me, I saw it on the other 2 angles. You guys did a good job. Morrissey got the ball there quickly and changed the direction of the shot. Catrano reacted too late.
3-0 Syracuse. Casey Powell assisting on that goal. So Powell, the freshman, has 2 assists on the first 3 Syracuse goals. Brown wins the face.
Big stick out there for Brown. Got it back for Zicki. Now he goes off.
Dennis Evans, the Brown star, with the ball, and Rick Beardsley has the assignment of watching Evans. Evans giving it up. Brown showing some patience, and that will be a key for the Bears. They can't run with Syracuse, no question about that. Evans nearly lost it. Beardsley poking at him, moving him away from the cage. Great one-on-one matchup there. Evans will shoot. Shot goes wide, and the Bears are behind the cage.
It was a nice jump. Beardsley did a nice job, but other guys are there to help him out. One of the things I think Rick got caught a couple times in the Hopkins game against that very quick shifting offense. Probably the best attack in the country, but I think they're playing a little bit better today.
There's a takeaway by Beardsley as he picked Brian McNulty's pocket. Check that, McNally. Rob Kavovit upfield to Casey Powell. Penalty flag flies. It'll be against Brown.
It's offside. It's going to be an offside penalty, I believe.
16 Brown, offside, 30 seconds.
So they will be down for 30 seconds as they did not come in when they came out the wrong side of the box there, and that left them offside, apparently. So Syracuse will get a first man up opportunity for 30 seconds. Syracuse.
David Evans hit with the penalty. So Syracuse has the man-up opportunity. The Orangemen scoring on 45% of their man-up opportunities so far this season. Colsey had it knocked down, but Syracuse holds on to the ball. Kavovit swinging to Morrissey. Now it's Doug Jackson. Morrissey shoots. Didn't get through cleanly. The ball was knocked down first by Dennis Sullivan, one of the big sticks. Sullivan had it, lost it, nearly had it back. Ball's loose, and it looks like Brown could have come away, but Christian Fotopoulos got in.
Okay, Brown, no failure to advance. They did not get the ball up in the allotted amount of time, so Syracuse gets the ball back. But it was on the ground. It looked like Fotopoulos had it, the big stick guy, and now they'll get another chance. I think the penalty's over. So they'll be all even.
Senior Mark Fietta with the ball for Syracuse. Powell was the cutter. Kavovit tried to feed him, and that pass goes over the sideline, and the ball will go to Brown.
Kavovit looked like he wanted to hit him where he was, and he came toward the ball and it went over his head. Little miscommunication, so Brown will attempt to clear. Syracuse attack has been playing very aggressive on the ride, going after Brown. Looked like they've got everybody covered, almost a 10-on ride. They go after the goalie. They are going to contest this.
Ball knocked down by Powell, but good effort there by Kevin Brainey out of Fayetteville Manlius for the Bears. Here's Chris DiBiase. Chad Smith is the man on him. Back to Alex Goodman. Brown trailing 3-0.
You know, lacrosse is a game of spurts. We've seen it, ebbs and flows, so they're not going to panic. They're going to take their time. There's an awful lot of time left even in the first quarter, so they want to make sure they get the next goal, though. Give themselves a little confidence. Right now, they're just a little one-on-one sweep.
Chris Martinelli, who has the reputation of being a good dodger, unable to escape Mike Wittick.
Wittick did a great job defensively there. He really went left and right and kept his feet moving. Great job defensively by Wittick.
Wittick, a defensive specialist among the Syracuse middies. DiBiase with Jeff Schuessler on him. And Schuessler gets hit with a penalty.
Slash, yeah, that'll be a slash.
DiBiase gets off a shot that goes wide, but Syracuse is going to be a man down.
I guess he figured if I got one penalty, they probably won't call another one.
1 minute, slam.
It was a one-hand check, and you know, a lot of it was the sound. We could hear it up here, Dan. Well, let's see what we get here with the one hand. I don't know if we're going to see it from here. I think that was the shot. He had the flag was actually down before that, I think. He gave him a one-hand check, and if you catch anything but stick, they will no doubt give you that penalty. So that's what happened.
Syracuse down a man for a minute, leading 3-0.
Down around, I think 24% or so on their man down, which is very good.
And important for Syracuse because the Orangemen traditionally pick up more penalties than the opposition from being so aggressive.
Traditionally, that's true. Oh, they're looking to feed the middle, but Beardsley was there with Smith.
This is Fotopoulos.
Fotopoulos was there. That's nice. They get it back to the goalie, and Rozier starts up the field. Ooh, a little high pass.
Great catch by Chad Smith. He scoops it, looking for Hans Schmid, but it goes out of bounds.
There's the kind of mistakes, we were talking about. Your man down, you got a chance to get down and get it off. You got 20 seconds left, but it was just a kind of a poor pass, and if it worked, it would have been great. It would have been a highlight. It didn't work, and you're going to give Brown another opportunity to have man up for 20 seconds.
David Evans walking toward the box and giving it back to Alex Goodman. Now Evans with good position. His bounce shot went over the crossbar. Brown will hold on with 10 seconds left in the man up. And 7:16 left in the first quarter. Goodman. Brown having a difficult time getting much penetration, but wasn't really necessary there. David Evans whipping his first goal into the cage, and Syracuse's lead has been cut to 2. It's 3-1.
Well, we knew coming in that Evans was the guy, 14-8 coming in, 22 points, and he just burns them high. When you're man down, you got to cover all the shooting alleys, and it's very difficult. That's why an advantage. You got to look back to that poor pass when Syracuse ostensibly could have gotten the ball out of there, but they gave him another opportunity, and Evans burned him for a man-up goal, 3-1, 7:05 left. Not man up. We find out they were even at that time.
The penalty had just expired. Brown wins the face-off.
So you can see how you get that ball right back. You get a little bit of a confidence builder. Now they're only down by 2, and they got the ball back. And although that goal was not man down, it's one of those ones we've talked about, Dan. As soon as it's over, it's very difficult to get in and find everybody, and often happens right at the end of a man up.
That's right. This is Alex Goodman. Paul Sullivan poking at him.
You can hear him say, "Hold him, Sully, hold him," and Sullivan did his job for that flurry.
James Gainsbauer trying to get around Jeff Schuessler. Schuessler. Pass back to David Evans. Few familiar names control the ball most of the time for Brown, and this is one of them, Alex Goodman, the transfer from Penn. Much like the Hopkins game, Brown trying to use the midfielders to control the ball and avoid having Beardsley or Chad Smith take it away.
He barely had an angle, and it was a nice job of defending with the body by Rozier as he held that pipe when he moved his body. It was exactly what he had to do, and it just off the mark, but give Rozier a good job of stepping in the right position.
Syracuse with a 3-1 lead. 5:40 left in the first quarter.
You know, in talking to the Syracuse coach, they said one of the things that defensive, beat here.
Shot and a goal. James Gainsbauer with his first goal of the afternoon, and it's 3-2.
Schussler was the guy that got beat. One of the things I was going to say, one of the things they talked about was defensive guys off the ball really have to concentrate. And right there, Schussler just got beat. There was no doubt about it, and Gainsborough took a shot in wide open shooting lane, and that cost Syracuse goal number 2. But one of the things that's very tough to play defense away from the ball. You know, when you guys got the ball, you can take it away. Otherwise, you gotta stay with your man all the time and concentrate. Right there, Syracuse gets the face. Let's see if they can come up with the ball. Yes.
Casey Powell there to pick it up. Forward to Roy Colsey. Colsey had it taken away from behind by Greg Rosicki. The
Brown
Bears
ball.
trying to clear. Dennis Sullivan firing upfield. Now it's Hans Schmid trying to come away for Syracuse.
That's where the ground ball statistic comes in. That one's going to go to Brown.
And it's Dave Evans. Beardsley. And Evans feeds it back to Brian Hartung. Brown looking to tie after Syracuse jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Shot high, and Brown will hold on with 4:36 left in the quarter. Brett Frood taking that last shot and then just taking a hit from Rick Beardsley. Frood is from Jordan Elbridge, one of 3 Syracuse area players on the Brown roster.
Brown looking at kind of a similar kind of offense to Hopkins, although not quite as packed in. They a little more space between them, but they will take a guy behind the cage, and if he doesn't see anybody cutting off that little stack, then he'll take it himself. So you have to be able to play not only defense to knock the ball down, but you also have to be able to go after your man if he tries to deal from behind the cage.
Brown has more shots now than Syracuse after the Orangemen had, I believe, the first 4 of the game. Tom Collard with the pass, ball down. Rozier was out of the net, but Hans Schmid picks it up for Syracuse. Schmid racing up the sideline. Not much room to work with there, but Syracuse still had a chance to come away with it, and the Orangemen will get the ball.
Ground ball, but it was off foot of Brown player, so Syracuse will get it back. But ground ball is pretty even right now. It was 98, I believe, just a second ago. 10-8 now in favor of Syracuse, and that can be a telling statistic, and the ball has been on the carpet a bit here.
Syracuse whipping the ball around quickly. Kavovit behind the cage. He had the first goal of the day. Kavovit being hit by Sullivan. Back out in front, Nick Liccamelli makes the move. Passes in front. Great save by Greg Catrano. Got it with his thigh. And Brown will get the ball as offsides was called on Syracuse.
Yep. Watch the save right here. Ooh, right off the right thigh. And you'll take it if you're the goalie. You're in the right body position. If your stick doesn't get it, your body's got to follow. And it was a good save for Brown.
Nice pass by Nick Liccamelli, setting up Rob Kavovit with a shot that more often than not he puts into the net.
Tempo, Brown very patient. They will run this offense and they'll run it out from the top and they'll put the ball behind. Right now they're running on top on a sweep. The topless defensively for Syracuse. The big stick midfield.
Alex Goodman shoots. Rozier there for the save. Beardsley picks up the ground ball and fires way upfield to a sprinting Roy Colsey. Unsettled situation. Colsey will take the left-hand shot, saved by Catrano. Fietta had it momentarily, and Colsey will pick it up and set up the offense.
Quite a flurry there. Syracuse sending Beardsley over with a big stick. He gets a jump.
and takes the shot and scores. Rick Beardsley with his first goal of the season. Leaping into the arms of teammate Christian Fotopoulos, and Syracuse leads 4-2.
Well, you know what they did? It's like a design play. You don't expect the defenseman. All of a sudden, the midfielder comes back over onside, and Beardsley's in a sprint down the sideline. See how he got the jump? Now he turned around. The defense tried to turn around and pick him up, but it was too late. Beardsley got too big of a jump, and he took that 6-foot titanium stick and whipped it, and gets his first goal this season, but a timely one. Second goal? We're going to check it for you. But Beardsley, a nice job, and both teams using big sticks out there on the wings on this face-off. Let's see who comes up with it. Ball's down. It's off of White, so it's going to be Brown ball. They get one off of Smith. Syracuse will play defense, and Brown will get the ball once again. I think the time of possession would go to Brown, and they don't keep that. It's not always a good statistic to keep for lacrosse, but they have been very patient, but they're down by 2 at this point.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Syracuse leading 4-2, and that was indeed Rick Beardsley's second goal this season and his 9th career goal. He had 5 as a freshman.
He started here since he was a freshman.
Beardsley's other goal coming last week against Towson State on the road. Good pass in front. High shot, whipped over the crossbar. Brown back to hold on to the ball. Brian McNally, number 14, one of the leaders for Peter Lasagna's Brown team. Lasagna, by the way, in his 3rd year as the head coach at Brown, after serving as an assistant under Dom Starsia for 10 years. Dom, of course, now the coach at Virginia.
By the way, that was just the 9th shot for Brown. Syracuse also with 9, so that statistic dead even at this point with about a minute left in this first quarter.
Matthew Dent with the ball. Wittick trying to push him away from the cage.
Syracuse, good defense, but it only takes a second in this offense. They got a cutter on the crease. They went a little headhunting there.
Alex Rozier intercepted the pass. He saw it coming and ran right out to get the ball. Now it's Beardsley, who scored the last goal for Syracuse. Beardsley shoots again and scores!
That's his 3rd goal.
Don't see a defenseman score back-to-back goals very often, and it's the first time in his career that Rick Beardsley has scored 2 in one game.
Well, he just gets that jump again. He's got deceptive speed. Matt Dent, number 10, was the guy who tried to stop him, and he went right at the chest, and the ball faded to the right off the left-handed goalie. You'll see it here. And just when that ball whips off that stick, it gets a lot of speed on it. And there you see the delay, and he just took the shot at just the right time.
The Orangemen win another face-off. Paul Sullivan gets off a quick shot that goes wide. 21 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Orangemen lead Brown 5-2. Plenty of time for another shot for Syracuse. Kavavet passing to Signor. Now it's Toby Price. 6 seconds left in the quarter. Kavavet, tough angle, pass in front. Sullivan couldn't handle it. Powell shoots off the post, and it'll go out of bounds as the buzzer sounds, ending the first quarter. Solid quarter for Syracuse. Brown tried to control the tempo, and at times did, but accurate shooting and solid work by defenseman Rick Beardsley has given Syracuse a 3-goal advantage after the first quarter. On the Brine scoreboard at the end of 1, Syracuse 5, Brown 2. Welcome back to the Carrier Dome. Dan Hort and Dale Drypolcher. Delighted to have you watching today. Syracuse leading Brown at the end of the first quarter 5-2. Coming into the game today, Syracuse looking to snap a 2-game losing streak at home. That had never happened at the Carrier Dome, and Peter Lasagna knew that the Orangemen would be motivated to break that losing streak.
Well, I'm not sure you can figure out a good situation. I mean, you could tell me that they're undefeated at home, and so we just become the next hapless victim. They're always going to get excited to play. I mean, that's part of the beauty of their program is, like I said, they have they have a gift for having a relatively short memory. It doesn't matter who you are. We're Syracuse, and you're in our building, and we're going to kick your butt no matter what.
And that's generally the way it's turned out over the years. Syracuse with 88 wins and 7 losses all time in the Dome.
Well, I would think Beardsley kind of epitomizes that attitude right there when you get a defenseman who scores 2 goals and brings you out of a very close game to a point where you have a little breathing room. Saves the ball, and Syracuse gets it and is going to go over to Smith, another long stick over.
Great save by Rob Kavovit there. Chad Smith double teamed, and he loses it to Dennis Sullivan. Upfield to Eric Benedict. Couldn't control the pass. There's Beardsley to take it away. Great look upfield to Kavovit. Kavovit passed up a possible shot. The Orangemen will set up the look offensively, and there's Beardsley trying to get position in front.
Tough with that big stick to stay on that crease too long, but Syracuse, a heads-up play, got the ball back, and we'll reset.
Syracuse with a 3-goal lead. That equals the biggest lead the Orangemen have had today. It was 3-0, then 3-2, and now 5-2. Roy Colsey. Shot goes wide. Powell dives for it.
Syracuse ball. Keep an unofficial stat here on Colsey. He's 1 for 3, I think, in the shots. 1 for 4 now we get.
And a look at first quarter statistics. Not many saves, as you can see. The shots that have not gone in have either gone high or wide for the most part.
Oh, double.
Powell sensed it, flipped to Morrissey. Morrissey had a little interference helping him there. Now he loses the ball, and Dennis Fitzgibbons came up with it briefly for Brown, but Syracuse gets it right back.
Fruit did a nice job of stripping the ball. Syracuse got it back, and Kavovit takes it behind. Spreading things out a little bit, Syracuse is now.
Colsey draws the double team, takes the shot, and the shot is wide to the left. Roy looking to move up on Syracuse's all-time goal-scoring list. His goal in the first period was his 100th at Syracuse. He's 11th all-time. Colsey shoots, didn't get through.
Somebody got hurt.
Like Kavovit
yeah, it
got
looked
hit
like
by that.
Kavovit looked like he took it off the rib.
Mark Fietta, stutter steps, tries the double team, ball's down, and Brown has it. Big hit applied there by Licamelli. Out of bounds off Brown, Syracuse gets it. Good recognition by Chad Smith. He knew that had been last touched by Brown and just let it roll over the sideline.
He's a senior. He's the guy that's got to show you. Watch, he's going to get hit here at the end. Somebody's going to club him from the back. Watch. All right, now what you do, there you go. You just turn it around and say the ball's that way. We've had a little bit earlier. I think we might have a little more less disciplined, but right now it was a good job. How they're going to lose it out at the midfield line, ball out of bounds, but Smith did a good job of, as you said, recognition.
Roy Simmons Jr. providing some instructions on the sideline. And there is the senior Chad Smith, the transfer from Army and a second-team All-America last year. Brown's ball trailing 5-2.
Brown taking it way out.
On Schmidt on Brian McNally. Ball down momentarily. McNally recovers it.
The movement away from the ball, so important for an offense. That's where your cutters come. And Brown working now one-on-one, but too close, get a double, and that's what's going to happen. Good check.
Schmidt knocks it free. And Syracuse comes up with a ground ball. This is Hans Schmid. Trying to fire over the middle, knocked down by McNally, but Syracuse has it. Wittig, as Brown hustles back to match up one-on-one defensively.
I think one of the things you're seeing this year is fewer fast break goals by the Orangemen, and playing the transition game a little bit less emphasized, or not being there as much as it has in the past. They're running a little more patient offense, and they have been effective so far. Good jump coming out of the box.
Jim Morrissey trying to whip that one forward. It went high, but Casey Powell was there behind the cage.
Schertz came in out of the substitution area, and they didn't see him. Ball down, scooped up by Brown. Goldie gets it out on the right side to his defenseman.
Sullivan finding the open man as Brown is able to clear. This is Kevin Brainy, the senior from Fayetteville Manlius. Now Brown gets the 6 offensive players at once in. Try and cut into this 5-2 Syracuse lead.
And taking some time off the clock as they get this substitution, and the last man in, number 6, Moore from Brown.
Brett Frood being watched by Dave Signor. Frood shoots and scores. He went low on Eric Rozier. And a nice moment for sophomore Brett Frood, who is from Jordan Elbridge, lacrosse, cross country, and wrestling athlete at that nearby high school to Syracuse. And Frood gets on the board, probably with some friends and family looking on here at the Carrier Dome, and makes it 5-3.
See, watch he does with his body. Watch his shoulder. Watch he dips down in, and all of a sudden, he's got that position on Signor on the right shoulder. Good body position, takes the left-hand shot. So Brent Frood, nice job, and gets Brown right back in the game. And the face-off momentarily looked like it was going the Brown way. Let's see who eventually comes up with it here. It's on the carpet still, and Brown comes up with it. A lot of ground balls. Sullivan doing a nice job defensively for Brown.
That was slick by Chad Smith, and forward to Casey Powell. Powell beats one man, shoots.
Ooh.
Nice save by Catrano.
Hit him right in the stick.
Now it's the Bears' turn. And again, Brown gets possession and patiently gets the people in that Peter Lasagna wants in.
He's got Frood in. Oh, bad.
Shot and a goal, and it's a 1-goal game. Syracuse 5, Brown 4. Brian Hartung with his first goal of the day.
I knew it was coming. I said bad because he got a jump right there, and now he's going inside and not able to contain him. That's number 12, Toby Price. And Price couldn't get the body on him, and Hartung brings him to 5-4.
Hartung, a senior from Massapequa, New York. Now Dave Signor in to try for the Syracuse faceoff.
They're 50-50 right now, 5 apiece. Syracuse up with this one.
Signor wins it, going over the shoulder to Chad Smith. Smith winds up, shot knocked down by Catrano. The goalie runs behind the cage. Looks to pass upfield, big hit by Colsey, and the ball is picked off by Hans Schmid.
Oh!
Good pass to Casey Powell. Powell right to the cage, shoots and scores. First goal of the day for Casey Powell. His 3rd point of the day. And once again, as Brown threatened to tie it, Syracuse goes back to a 2-goal lead.
Well, Schmid took a shot off the helmet, but you can see right there, Powell knows what to do, and he held the ball just the right amount of time. And the goalie, Patron, couldn't commit, and he took him stick side. The left-handed goalie was not able to stop Powell. So, as you said, they came close, but now it's another 2-goal lead. But Hans Schmid will get the assist, and he also got a whack in the head on the way down the field. Another face-off goes Syracuse way. The big sticks there on the wings, and they're getting the ball. Oh, they're going to lose it there. It's off the calf of it. But both teams utilizing big stick guys up on the wings on the faceoff.
Signor winning 2 in a row since being given the chance. Price, Signor, and Schuschler are the players who have had the opportunities at faceoff for Syracuse, and it seems to be almost on a game-to-game basis who's going to be the hot guy that Syracuse winds up relying on late in the game.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I talked to Kevin Donnie, the faceoff coach, and he said he's just going to see if somebody gets in the groove, he'll let them stay and do what they do. But he's still looking for people and giving everybody a run.
Dave Evans cradling with the left hand as Rick Beardsley put the pressure on. The pass to Martinelli was errant, but Martinelli was able to come up with it. Mike Whittick on him. Syracuse up 6-4.
And using that very crowded stack on the crease and just moving people off in cutters. Now they're back out of that and spreading it out, but that's what they have been doing. Now they're a little one-on-one at the top.
Hartung, who scored the last Brown goal, faked the pass, takes the shot, and beats Rozier.
That was a tough shot because he had 44. He had Hans Schmidt all over him.
That was Alex Goodman, not Brian Hartung. Alex Goodman with a goal.
And Goodman, right there, I was Schuschler. Check that. Schuschler had the stick up on him, but Goodman got the body position and brings him back to 1 at this time, as it was a well-placed shot. Not especially hard, but it's 6-5 now. Face-offs, Syracuse 7-5 in that department.
Brown wins the face, looking to tie. It has not been tied since Syracuse scored the first goal of the game. There's a bad pass upfield for Dave Evans, and Syracuse will get it. Peter Lasagna, the coach of the year last year, leading Brown to a 12-game winning streak and a berth in the Final Four before Brown lost to Ivy League foe Princeton in the semifinals. Princeton, of course, went on to win the national championship. Brown was undefeated in regular season Ivy League games last year, knocking off Princeton when the Tigers were #1. Brown has also not played a home game yet this season. This is the 5th straight road game for the Bears.
That's tough.
They'll finally play at home next Wednesday.
Second period there. Shots and goals. Brown perfect. Syracuse 3 for 7. A very close game and a fairly low scoring game at this point.
Fietta shoots and scores. Good feed by Jim Morrissey. And the quick one-time attempt by Mark Fietta pays off. The senior from Jordan Elbridge scores to make it 7-5 Syracuse.
Benedict was on him, but number 21 from Brown, short stick, but we're going to see it right here. Fietta just gets enough of a shooting lane and he takes that right-handed shot. And once again, Syracuse bounces back to a 2-goal lead with 6:04 left.
Signor again on the faceoff for Syracuse, and the Orangemen win this one. Chad Smith, high looping attempt for Hans Schmidt, and it goes out of bounds. And John Desko, Syracuse's assistant coach, furious at Chad Smith for not just handing off to a man who was open nearby.
I want Chad out. He threw it. It doesn't matter.
Brian Hartung runs it in for Brown. Schuschler on him. Schuschler playing with a heavily taped right leg.
It's a new definition of heavily taped. That's
almost a cast.
He's got a roll or so on there, I'll tell you that. See, they're doing that stack up there again. The camera just pans left just a little. You see him break. Oh, open. And that's what they try to do. The same thing that Hopkins tried to do.
Big Tom Collard was knocked down, held onto the ball until the double team. He had it knocked away, but Hartung was fortunate to have the ball bounce right to him. Hartung works in front. Rozier breaks it up. Beardsley has it. Beardsley with good speed, trying to get around the corner, and does so. Evans watching Beardsley. Beardsley runs away from him.
Flag down. 2 flags down.
Chad Smith shoots off the post. Brown gets the ball, and the whistle blows, acknowledging the flags.
I'll bet you this is interesting. see if we can hear.
Brown's offside. Get a number one.
Bill Ellis here.
Hey, give me. 9 offsides. 30 seconds on Brown.
Yep. DiBiase. So he'll be down for 30. So Syracuse, man-up opportunity number 2. And they are 0 for 1 at this point. So a pretty slow game for the Syracuse man-up squad.
Brown not a heavily penalized team. In fact, earlier this week, Roy Colsey referred to Brown as being one of the more cerebral teams Syracuse would face this year. But then Rick Beardsley countered by saying SAT scores don't count. Colsey shoots. Looked like it might have hit the post again. Colsey able to bat the ball loose, but Brown has it.
Oh, we got to be offside.
Yeah, a lot of traffic near the center of the field.
Oh, Brown took a timeout.
Good way to avoid an offside.
Yes, it is. I've seen that happen a lot. A lot of shuffling going on, and perhaps one of the more difficult calls as an official is to see those bodies, you know, as they go back and forth. You see one they're on, then they're off, and you have to count all the time. So it's a difficult call for an official, and they didn't have to worry about it because Brown took a timeout.
You can see that Syracuse has that 7-0 mark against Brown. And against Brown here in the Dome, it's generally been lopsided. Syracuse up 69-33. Brown has scored 5 times, and they're doing it against an outstanding Syracuse defense.
So you have to be smart. You have to make their short sticks play defense, and you have to try to control tempo if you can, and run when it's good for you, and not run because you're running away from Rick Beardsley and Chad Smith.
You know, he makes a good point, and we've seen him controlling the tempo, and we've seen the matchups where you try to get your guy on their short stick guys, so there's an advantage for the offense. But they have controlled the tempo. They haven't slowed it down completely, but he has run when he wants to run, and he's slowed it down a bit when he wants to slow it down. So he's in the game, and he's doing exactly, I don't want to say exactly what he wants. I'm sure he'd like to be ahead, but I think his game plan is exactly what he just told us right there. And he mentioned Beardsley and Smith, and there's a good look at Smith. Both guys have had a pretty good game, but Beardsley up with 2 goals, certainly a candidate for an outstanding game.
And Beardsley also has had the assignment of
Evans
guarding David Evans one-on-one. Evans has scored 1 goal so far and came to the game with 14 this season.
And I don't think he was actually on Beardsley at that point. It was right near at the end of that man up for Brown. So at any rate, Beardsley's having a good game, and they run that cutting offense from the top where they stack him up. Watch him break. See, open on the cage.
And no chance for Alex Rozier there as Brian McNally came away wide open off that traffic in front of the cage, took the pass and fired it home.
Well, that's just a question of you got to play defense away from the ball. And what happens is now they're all cutting up there. And look, all by himself, McNally, somebody just misses the little rotation. You know what? One breaks, I'm with him. The next guy breaks. Perhaps it was Chad Smith who was supposed to be on McNally. And what happened was he lost him or he got picked off, and that's the way this offense works. John Desko told me it seems to be a very popular offense this year. Syracuse doing all right in the faceoff department, comes up with another, but it's back to a 1-goal lead. Oh.
Great effort by Toby Price to keep the ball in bounds, and Paul Sullivan gets it for Syracuse. Rushed the pass a little bit, trying to get it to Kavovit, and Brown will get the ball.
Yeah, could have used a little more patience there. You had an opportunity. Could have probably run out of trouble, get a better view of the field, and then make the pass and get your big sticks off and your other guys on. But that's also the way Syracuse plays. It's a fast break. It's an unsettled situation, and you can create them by making a great pass like that. It didn't work that time, but it has worked plenty of other times. Talking about efficiency here, we'll see Brown 4 for 4 in this quarter as the ball goes down in terms of shots and goals.
Good ride there by Syracuse to force a bad pass by Brown, but then the Orangemen throw it away.
A long pass by Schmid, 44, and that was not close to being snagged by anybody, so they're going to give it back to Brown. Rozier is sitting in that cage waiting for another shot. Nice save.
Rozier hasn't made many saves so far, and he made a nice one there to keep Syracuse on top by a goal.
Rozier's only got 2 saves, one on the first and one on the second.
Schuschler running with a taped leg, passing to Cavavit, and now it's Casey Powell. Jim Morrissey. Dennis Fitzgibbons on him. Morrissey cradling with the left hand. Now reverses direction. Spins by Fitzsimmons. Shoots. Hit the post. Whittick will pick it up for the Orangemen. Cavavit setting up on the left side, parallel to the cage. Trying to sprint by Dennis Sullivan. Pass in front. Signor couldn't catch.
Boy, he was open too. That was a nice play, but Signor couldn't keep the ball in his cross.
Ryan Cummings getting a chance for Syracuse. Transfer from Hopkins. And the product of Nottingham High. Cummings. Passing back to Powell. Powell, good fake, low shot, just missed. And Cavavit was behind for Syracuse.
He had that stick up high and then brought it down and got off that low riser. It was a nice shot. Hard to see, didn't go in. He's only a freshman. Brown doing a pretty good job defensively there. It's going to be a race for the end line.
Good work by Greg Catrano.
Yep, Catrano was there and got pushed, but he got the right body position.
Brown passing up the sideline. And the Bears are able to clear. Hardtongue loses the ball, picked up by Fietta. And Fietta will bring it upfield for Syracuse.
Whittick set that up. Still in offensively. Let's see what Syracuse does. They've got,
there's a flag. An obvious one on
Whole
this
city.
sweeping attempt to take away by James Gainsbauer. And Gainsbauer will spend 30 seconds in the penalty area.
This is a hold. Not only did he hold him, he wound up and sent it from left center, and that was going to cost him. So Syracuse gets their third man up opportunity. They have yet to convert. There's Gainsbauer.
Hitting his head as if to say, think.
Yes. Well, Catrano, when they're the left-hand goalie, sometimes, that has a factor. It hasn't seemed to bother Syracuse too much. They got 7 goals, but it has been a slow second period for Syracuse in the goal department.
Ball Carcaterra to Rob Cavavit. Now it's Jim Morrissey. Pass in front, shot taken by Colsey, went high.
10 seconds left on the man up. 1:06 in the quarter. Timeout. Syracuse is going to perhaps set a special play up here as they have 10 seconds, or 8 now, 8 seconds in the penalty and a little more than a minute in the quarter. Just checking Colsey's stats. He's at least shooting at this point 1 for 8. There's the Brown Bears outscoring opponents in the second quarter 18-6. Not bad.
They've outscored Syracuse 4-2 in the second quarter here.
I was going to say, not bad for a team that has not had a home game yet. That's Syracuse takes a timeout. They will go back with 8 seconds left on the man up. Coach
John
Simmons.
Desko's last comment seemed to be reserved for Casey Powell, so if this is some sort of set play, I'd look for him to be involved.
I think you might be right.
Generally, as we look at Casey Powell in the man-up situations, he's the guy that kind of works in front in all the traffic against the various zone defenses, looking for the feed in front of the cage.
It has a quick release. Is able to get the ball in and get it out, and with a great degree of accuracy and rapidity.
Carcaterra back to Colsey. Doug Jackson now. 1 second left in the penalty. Colsey winds up.
Another pipe.
Pope. Not the Pope, the pipe, Dan. Hopefully he didn't hit the Pope.
No.
Easter is coming after all.
He'd have trouble in the cage with that hat.
You imagine how quickly the guards would hop on you.
They had those big sticks, those big Swiss Army sticks, right? About 45 seconds left.
And Brown trying to tie it before the half.
Syracuse has had about 3 or 4 pipes, I think, in this first half.
Unofficially 4 shots.
Oh, there's the jump. He's open.
Evans shoots and scores, and Brown ties it at 7 with 31 seconds left in the half.
Shades of Hopkins, as that was a clear jump. And Evans just able to see how open he is? And it looks like Smith couldn't make the jump with him, and they really crowd things up on that, stack it up with all these bodies, and then they just keep breaking, and it's very difficult to defend it, and you've got to be watching all the time. You know, you watch your man, and then he goes back last in line, but all of a sudden they'll run a different X cut or something, and you've got to stay with him all the time, and Brown has been, I think, doing a wonderful job using that offense.
Colsey comes up with the ball for the Orangemen, and Syracuse quickly gets it upfield. 20 seconds left in the half. The game tied at 7. Jim Morrissey reversing direction. Morrissey works in front. Morrissey shoots and scores.
Cute.
And in 17 seconds, Syracuse takes the lead back 8-7. Morrissey comes up limping after the goal.
Nice job. He just watch him go low, and that's just able to cock and fire while he's on the move. He had number 41 on him, Fitzgibbons, but he took that little left-hand shot low, and he really beat number 4, Catrano, cleanly. He really couldn't even make a play on the ball.
Morrissey being looked at on the sideline after scoring that goal. Morrissey had trouble with his ribs early this season. They are finally better. Let's hope he didn't hurt something else. Less than 10 seconds to go in the half. Inside of 5 seconds, down to 1. And the horn sounds with Syracuse taking a 1-goal lead to the locker room. Morrissey limping ever so slightly. Doesn't look like anything too serious. Let's hope it isn't. And as we look at the Brine scoreboard at the half, Syracuse leads Brown 8-7.
Hi, this is Paul Gate with the SPX Tip of the Week. Today we're going to talk about outside shooting. 3 things we need to work on to become a good outside shooter. One is we need to develop speed. Second thing is we need to develop some deception. Third thing is we need to hide our stick and give the goalie less time to react. When we develop speed, we need to use our whole body, extending the arms out away from the body and transferring the weight forward. That's how we develop extra speed. To develop deception, we don't want to give away our shots. For instance, if I'm shooting like this or winding up like this, goalie knows I'm shooting low. So keep the shoulders flat if I'm going low. If I'm going high, I may want to dip that shoulder. That's deception. As far as hiding the stick, we want to bring that stick behind our body before we go to shoot. What that does, it gives the goalie less time to react to the ball, and you'll be able to score a lot more.
At the half at the Dome, it's Syracuse 8 and Brown 7. Dan Hort and Dale Drypolcher with you. It looked like it might be a Syracuse blowout early, 3-0 in the first 3 minutes and 40 seconds, but Brown has come back nicely.
And I think they've controlled the tempo. Coach Lasagna said they'd like to do that, run it when they want to, slow it down. They've been able to do that, and they've played very well.
Syracuse's leader offensively in the first half has been Casey Powell with a goal and 2 assists, but the Orangemen also getting a lift out of big stick defenseman Rick Beardsley. As we take a look at some first half highlights, we will see the second of Beardsley's 2 goals.
It almost looked like a set play. They came back onside, Beardsley went off, and Dent tried to go with him, but he got all the way down, and he signifies the fact that he's got 2 goals today, and he surely did.
His first career 2-goal game, but here's Brown coming back.
Running that offense we saw against Hopkins, where they've gone a lot of cutters off a stack up outside the crease. They've gotten away cleanly a couple times. Syracuse, I'm sure, going to make some adjustments defensively to come out, play a little bit better against that offense in the second half.
Brown actually pulled even at 7 apiece, but with 17 seconds left in the half, Jim Morrissey scored to give Syracuse its 1-goal lead. Again, our score at the half, Syracuse 8, Brown 7. Back with second half action in a moment on Super Sports. Syracuse 8, Brown 7. 30 minutes of lacrosse left. Unless, of course, we go to OT, which was the case the last time Syracuse played here in the Dome. Some youngsters enjoying lacrosse on a chilly April 1st.
Signor up with it. Syracuse gets the first face-off of the second half.
And Casey Powell has the ball for the Orangemen. Powell and Kavovit, quite a combo, although Powell's pass to Kavovit got loose there, and Brown comes away.
Brown running it well to get some people, and I was going to say a little bit more spread out than they were when they run that stack when there's so many people cutting off the crease. But right now they're making it a little bit wider.
Chris Martinelli with the ball. Roy Colsey on him. Martinelli backing up, surveying the traffic in front. Now Martinelli spins away from Colsey, still cradles. And there's the Brown patience that we've talked about throughout.
And they're setting that offense up with the cutters again.
Gainsbauer with the ball. Fietta whacking at him. Gainsbauer gets away, shoots, scores. And it's tied at 8.
That's one of those we talked about earlier. I said you get behind the cage and you're going to see Gainsbauer, and what he does is if he beats his man and he beats Fietta cleanly, now he's just going to take a one-hand shot, and Rozier is really at his mercy. There's no way he can stop that because this guy and you know what? There's no slide, so when you get beaten so far back and you can make such a clean run, the guys are out so far, your defensemen, they can't slide back and help, and Gainsbauer, give him a lot of credit. He did that all by himself.
Syracuse wins the face with the score tied at 8. Dave Signor. To Rob Kavovit, the sophomore who leads Syracuse in assists. Brown has rallied from 3 down on 2 different occasions. Brown has never led today. Schuschler. Check that Signor, and the shot was saved by Catrano. Brown running. David Evans behind to Chris DiBiase. Chad Smith poking at him. Ball pass back to Brian Hartung.
Sorry, just going to say this is an example of running when you want to and running the settled offense when you want to, and that's exact. Now they're going to run back and get the people on and settle and run that stack. Oh, he's got to jump again.
Tried to pass across to McNally.
Stays Brown ball off of, I think, Chad Smith's stick.
There's a look at Brian Hartung, who has one of the 8 Brown goals today. Dave Signor coming out for Syracuse.
Syracuse trying to pick up players here, making sure everybody's got somebody covered. Frood was open momentarily. Beardsley picks up Frood right on the crease. You can see that shot right there. This is what they did. Now, if they take him behind, if this man gets beat, it's a lot of trouble because there's no help from a slide, and your goalie is really in trouble, so you have to play real good defense back there.
Dave Evans, who has scored twice, has it knocked loose by Chad Smith. Hans Schmid hustling after it, and Schmid is able to come up with it. Passes back to Rozier. That's something Syracuse did not do at all in the first half, and it's been there.
Wittick's going to get the ball. You're right. I think it's a good move. If you don't have something, don't force it. Go back to the goalie. You still got 10 seconds to get it out of there. And that's exactly what they did, and they now have the ball on the Brown end.
Brown has put a lot of pressure on Syracuse's big sticks when the Orangemen have tried to clear, and Syracuse had not been using that safety option of Rozier at all in the first half. 8-8 the score. Casey Powell with the ball. A little flip pass to Colsey. Colsey using his strength and speed to get close to the cage. Passes toward Kavovit, and it winds up in the cross of Nick Licamelli. Morrissey behind to Powell. Kavovit still behind the cage. Kavovit spins, cradling with the left hand, using the free hand to keep the space, and passing back to Licamelli. Mark Fietta breaks by 2 men, bounces one over the goal, and Powell runs it down. Shot goes wide. Syracuse maintains possession with 10:53 left in the third quarter.
I think they want them to settle down a little bit here. Get a good shot off. Ball down, though. That scoop it right to the goalie, and he's going to start it the other way.
And it's Roy Moore running upfield for Brown.
Now they run. And if it isn't there, they'll be patient and wait till they get everybody on. Syracuse trying to force the issue. Coles. Offside, what do we got here? Oh, failure to advance. I'm sorry, I was looking down at the other end of the field. Failure to advance, so, and now that'll be against Syracuse, I think. Oh, nope. It's like he was not pleased, official. I thought it was right in front of the Syracuse bench, but what happened apparently was that Martinelli said something, which is an illegal team personnel action. And Coach Lasagna just told him to shut up.
Martinelli going at it a bit verbally with his coach, it appeared there.
Well, Syracuse has got a man-up opportunity, number 4, first one in this half. Oh, scoop it, miss it, Syracuse ball.
Great feed by Cavavit. Carcaterra cut toward the cage, couldn't quite convert.
29 seconds left in this man-up.
Shot,
nice save, chest.
Catrano stopping Casey Powell's shot.
Catrano's up to 8 saves, or that is 9th. I think that might be his 9th.
Evans bounce shot. Don't know if Rozier got a piece or not, but it went wide.
Sullivan was down there with the big stick. The defenseman tried to make the assist, but we have 8 saves now for Catrano, and that one was a dandy off his chest. That one just thrown out of bounds by Brown's number 14, McNally. Syracuse
I believe that pass, excuse me, Dale, was intended for Alex Goodman, and it was so high that he didn't even react to it. He assumed there must be someone over him.
Behind me, yeah.
Right.
It must be intended for that other guy behind me. Let's see what they do on this clear as they're going long pass to Schmid. Rozier's in the middle. They get it across.
And
with
Sullivan.
No problem to Sullivan.
Will move it into the box, passing to Powell. Sullivan didn't have much on it. Catrano makes the save. Sullivan applies some pressure. Catrano gets rid of it, but the errant pass will go out of bounds. Casey Powell, who was running up on the ride for Syracuse, got upended unintentionally by Dennis Sullivan.
Sullivan, 5'8", 150 defenseman. Now there, you talk about a little guy being able to play a game. 5'8", 150. There aren't many sports other than wrestling that you could, at this level, be successful.
And Sullivan is an excellent big stick defenseman for the Brown Bears. Syracuse and Brown knotted at 8 in the third quarter.
Really packing that defense in. You know, and the problem is there are so many bodies there. You know, you get close enough to the goal, but there's no shooting lanes. John Desko is trying to cipher this one out. See how tight this Brown defense is. Catrano has played very well. The last one, a chest save, was difficult, but he controlled the rebound even. But Syracuse taking a couple of shots here.
Colsey had a lot on it, but it whistled right into the stands behind the goal. Great pass. Colsey's shot didn't get through cleanly, but Cavavit picks up the loose ball. Shot by Toby Price is wide.
Boy, they're taking some shots at Catrano now. They've taken about 4 in 35 seconds.
Ball quickly back in play. Cavavit to Morrissey. Knocked down by Brown. Catrano, the goalie, gets it upfield, and here come the Bears. Brown trying to take its first lead. Ball loose on the turf. Toby Price with it. Up to Chad Smith. And his pass upfield right to Roy Colsey. Crowd comes to life. Colsey winds up. Shots high, and Morrissey is behind the goal for Syracuse.
They seem to be going high on Catrano. The last 2 or 3 shots have been high. They have not been really tough shots for Catrano.
Unofficially, Roy Colsey 1 for 12 on his shots. He was 0 for 18 officially in the Johns Hopkins game. A rare game in which Colsey did not score a goal. and he took a lot of blame for the overtime loss. I mean, he accepted a lot of blame for the overtime loss. Colsey with a big hit there. That's legal, and Syracuse gets the ball. Sullivan has it. Good job by Sullivan. Fietta couldn't get off the shot.
Oh, they're trying to get that pass in the middle.
Another big hit, this time by Fietta. And now penalty flags on Syracuse.
This is a big one, I think. This could be a minute. He's going to call a cross check. Oh, illegal check. Means you usually bring it up a little bit high, like above the shoulder line. Let's see what Fietta does here. He brings up. Oh yeah. Brought it up high, and they're going to be down for a minute.
Roy Colsey, who is the third man around that play, had his stick bent on that hit. Evans shoots and scores, and Brown has its first lead of the day. David Evans with his third goal. And look out, the Bears are on top, 9-8.
1 out of 2 in the man up, and Rozier's head's down a little bit. He's a little bit, he's dragging, and he's not, you know, that's a tough shot to stop, and Evans is their best guy, and you're man down, but he's got to get some help there, and that's awful tough to stop that. I mean, you know, it's you'd like to see him come up with one. I think it would pick him up, but it's very difficult. They have been taking some good shots and efficient shots. Syracuse, I'm sure, has to find a little bit more here.
Syracuse with the ball, trying to tie it after falling behind for the first time. Morrissey doesn't know where the ball is. Penalty flag down.
Interference on number 5. That'd be Sullivan, the defenseman, the guy we talked about, 5'8", 150. He's
5 Brown. 5 Brown.
He's going to be down for 30.
Interference, technical.
He is a little guy.
You say he's little at 150 pounds. Just looking through the Brown media guide before the game, goalie Greg Catrano was listed at 85 pounds. It's actually 185, but the one was missing. I was anxious to see this guy, 85 pounds.
85 pounds. Well, Syracuse got about 20 seconds left as they set up. It's important for them. They got to believe that they get some goals here out of this man up.
Powell had good position, did not get the shot toward the goal, but Morrissey recovers the ball and fires it high past Catrano to score the man-up goal and tie the game at 9.
Penalty as they change. You're going to look at it here. One of the things that's important is the fact that they got back in this, and this is their first man-up goal. First man-up goal.
Illegal personal action on the bench, issue bench, lost the ball, ground ball.
So now Syracuse, while we were watching the replay, illegal team action, and that's going to cost them the ball, and they've been talking to Rick Beardsley. Don't know exactly what happened, but that's an important possession to lose. Now Syracuse has got it tied up, but instead of being able to perhaps get a face-off and go down and control it, they're going to lose the possession right now. This is a well-coached team, this Brown team. They really have been very patient.
Game tied at 9 in the third quarter. Alex Goodman. Schuschler knocked it out of his cross momentarily. Goodman gets it back. Schuschler with a push. Goodman still holding on to it. Drew the double team. Pass to DiBiase. Now the takeaway by Rick Beardsley. Beardsley sprinting upfield. The pass to Kavovit. The look to Morrissey. Tried to feed Powell. Recovered by Morrissey. The junior, Jim Morrissey, passing to Kavovit.
Nobody there. Yeah, he's going to wait. Syracuse getting some people on.
Colsey is not out there as he was continuing to fiddle with a new stick after having his bent.
Syracuse had scored that man-up goal. It got them back into this tie situation. Right now, they'd love to go ahead.
Kavovit with the ball. Kavovit has 1 goal. Kavovit still with it.
Well, they're looking to double. They jump.
Price passing in front for Sullivan.
Too many bodies in there. That's going to be a pass. That'll be, let's see, it's off a Brown stick. Must be off a Brown player, so.
There is Roy Colsey looking to tape a new stick.
.432 left in this third quarter. One-on-one. Jump. Somebody's got to be open.
Toby Price works toward the middle, fires high. Syracuse has the ball with 4:15 left in the quarter. Dave Signor, in his second year at Syracuse. Syracuse has outshot Brown drastically, but many of Syracuse's shots have not been on the mark today. They've also been unlucky with at least 4 hitting the post.
They've been going high on Catrano. That hasn't worked.
Nice catch by David Evans. Beardsley has been watching Evans most of the day. Now it's Martinelli. Signor the defender.
Jump, slide, shot.
Brian McNally with a goal. Brown leads Syracuse 10-9.
You got to worry a little bit about Rozier's confidence as they take the left-hand shot. They jumped and they tried to slide over and pick him. Watch the jump. There's the jump. Now there's the slide over after they got him outmanned. But McNally, just a very nice shot, and he got it by Rozier, and it's 10-9 now, Brown. Face-off, Syracuse dominating that statistic, but it has not proven to be all that important at this point.
Chad Smith.
You got a push. Moving pick, so that'll be Syracuse loss of possession. Looked like might have been Beardsley on the pick.
So the Bears have it, looking to increase their 10-9 lead. Inside of 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tom Collard, one of the bigger players for Brown at 6'3", 210. Being watched by a smaller Mike Wittick. Evans shoots. There's a save by Rozier. Collard recovers. Evans firing over to teammate Brett Frood. Smith trying to take it away. Frood running backward.
Yep.
Frood breaks loose. Shot goes wide. Frood taken down. And it looks like the call will go against Wittick, who knocked down Frood after his shot went wide.
So unsportsmanlike? No, not unsportsmanlike.
Unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary roughness, yeah. Still a minute. Syracuse goes man down, and this will be the third man-up opportunity for Brown. Timeout. Frood's got to get a helmet adjusted there, I think. Brown has been efficient. Syracuse has gone in spurts, but they have been real slow in this third quarter in terms of goal production.
Syracuse has been outscored 3-1 in the second half. A 1-goal quarter would be very unusual for Syracuse. Brown passing the ball around the perimeter. Syracuse in the zone situation, down a man. Here's the quarter-by-quarter breakdown with Brown on top. 10-9. Mark Fietta comes up with the ball for the Orangemen. Fietta passing in front, trying to find Toby Price. Petrano came out of the goal to get the ball. He gets knocked down, but passed it up field first. Evans with a great catch, shoots and scores. But he went into the crease. The goal will not count. Evans stepped into the crease before releasing the shot.
Coach was excited, but the officials there. This is a great job by Evans. Let's see the foot.
Wow. Bad call. That goal should have counted for Evans.
Didn't look like his foot. You know, it's only got to be on the paint, and it did not even look like it was on the paint. So Syracuse gets a little bit of a reprieve, but they've Brown going right after him.
Andy Sherritt's with the ball, and the pass upfield completed to Kavovit.
You talk about efficiency in the second quarter. Brown, 5 goals on 6 shots, 3 goals on 5 shots in the third quarter. That's efficient use of your stick.
Kavovit trying to find Colsey, who has returned with a new stick. Recovered by Nick Licamelli.
One-on-one here. Tough to get. Cutter. Down.
Powell couldn't quite catch that low feed. And with 23 seconds left in the third quarter, Brown has the ball. Lost there. Nick Licamelli has it. Fans begin applauding as Syracuse moves forward. Colsey had it knocked down from behind by Martinelli. 10 seconds left in the quarter.
Heads up play by Martinelli. That stick was hanging, and he got a piece of it before they could get a shot off, and this ought to about do it for this quarter.
That will do it for the quarter, and quite a quarter for Brown. The Bears outscored the Orangemen 3-1 in the third. They'll take a 1-goal lead to the fourth. And on the Brine scoreboard, 15 minutes of lacrosse to go. It's Brown 10 and Syracuse 9. Brown with a 1-goal lead going to the fourth quarter. Before the game, we asked Peter Lasagna the formula for knocking off Syracuse.
Play really solid team defense, which I think is why we won the Loyola game. Again, run when it's to our advantage to run, and not because we are fleeing or dragged into Syracuse's pace. And be smart and patient on offense otherwise. You know, they have the best takeaway guys in the country. So you want to try to minimize the times that you're going after those guys head to head.
They've followed the formula nicely and have that 10-9 lead. We've played about 15 seconds in the fourth quarter. Syracuse won the face to begin the fourth. This is Doug Jackson. Roy Colsey shoots high.
Again. Boy, they have been going high a lot. You know, you talk about efficiency. The team, Brown, has got 10 goals on 20 shots. They're hitting 500 there. That's pretty good average.
Quick scan of those stats show that Syracuse leads in most categories, but Brown has the 1-goal lead.
There's a lot of time left, and Syracuse just need to get the. Oh, they're really going after. Oh, I was going to say they had 3 guys on Colsey. He did a nice job. He sent that low, and Catrano didn't get to it, and that ties it up. Syracuse fans got to hope. Watch him. Watch 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on Colsey, and he got a low 1 hopper off, and that ought to make him 2 for 14. But that's an important one right there.
Certainly was. It ties the game at 10. Colsey's 12th goal this season.
Syracuse dominating the faceoffs. They're going to lose this one, but they had up to that point.
David Evans and Rick Beardsley going at it. Evans, who lost that goal on the crease violation the last time he appeared to score, and the replay showed it might not have been the right call. A break for Syracuse, perhaps. A little sloppy, but the Orangemen do maintain possession. Trying to take the lead. We're tied at 10. Early in the fourth quarter. The Orangemen trying to snap their 2-game home losing streak. Doug Jackson giving it up to Jim Morrissey. Syracuse with a very young attack and a midfield contingent. The only key seniors really, Colsey and Fietta, although there are other seniors who produce, but out of the top 2 lines in those departments, you're looking at freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Colsey shoots, it goes wide, and the sophomore Jackson tracks after it for Syracuse.
You see the attraction that Colsey really gets a lot of attention when he has the ball.
Good no-look pass by Powell, intended for Colsey. It looked like Colsey was surprised.
That ball was intended there, and the pass for Martinelli, he didn't have a chance to make a play on it. Syracuse will get another opportunity. Fietta's got it over the midfield line.
Syracuse with 10 goals, 5 from the attack, 3 from the middies, and 2 from defenseman Rick Beardsley today. Syracuse with the ball. Casey Powell behind the cage. Doug Jackson out front to Morrissey. Morrissey and Powell playing catch. Mark Fietta firing around to Jackson.
Well, they really packed that defense, and now they try to pass. That's a forced pass through a defense with all those sticks up, and now Syracuse is going to have to hustle to get it back, and they do.
Great
Fietta.
job. Great job of knocking it out of the cross. There's a pass to Colsey, goes behind the back, and saved by the foot of the goalie, Greg Catrano.
Ball's on the ground. Fast break.
Pass there. Knocked down by Hans Schmid. And Rozier has it in the crease and passes upfield to Colsey. Nice fake by Colsey to evade the hit at midfield.
Look at all those shirts going after him. Oh, went high.
Colsey gave it up to Sheretz. His shot went high.
He has been doing a good job the game before when he knows how much attention he gets. He's able to dump it off. He waits for the last minute, which leaves a lot of shooting lanes for the other guys. High again.
17th shot taken by Colsey. Doug Jackson getting a lot of time here in the fourth quarter in place of Rob Kavovic. Colsey pushed, then retreated. There's the sophomore Jackson behind to the freshman Powell. Powell flipping it over the shoulder to Jackson. Colsey cranks it up, and again it goes wide.
Shot number 48 for Syracuse.
And the 18th for Colsey. Morrissey moving toward the cage, shot and a goal.
No, it's on the outside. It's on the outside.
The fans erupted thinking it was a goal, and I joined them in thinking that, but no goal. Brown's ball tied at 10.
Now let's see what Brown does. See if they set up in that offense with the cutters from the little stack up there. They take the short stick behind. Syracuse number 13, Sheretz, with number 13 for Brown. Chester? No, 23, check that.
Martinelli.
Yep, you're right.
His shot goes wide. Martinelli angry with himself after missing an opening. Martinelli being watched by Sheretz.
Doubled.
Shot, saved by Rozier, and a big one.
Nice save.
That was a good-looking shot by Brian McNally. Beardsley using his speed up the sideline. Tried to feed it to Colsey. Licamelli has it. Jackson leaps, shoots, and a crease violation on Jackson.
And Syracuse pick up now. Let's see what kind of a ride they put on. They got Martinelli way over on the other side. See if they get the ball to him. That's a good ride, good force.
Frood, and he gets it upfield to Gainsbauer. Gainsbauer shoots, Rozier saves. Penalty flag on the play.
That was
against Syracuse.
That was as good a penalty as you can take. They're probably only give him 30 seconds because that was a breakaway goal. Here's the shot right there. I mean, not only the shot, but the shot in the back, because he wanted to make sure that he could not get a unmolested one-on-one. So he's going to take the penalty, and Syracuse will at least have a chance to play man-down defense instead of giving up a breakaway goal.
You see Roy Simmons on the Syracuse bench, and in the top corner, Rob Kavavet, who has not been out there really in the fourth quarter. Bit surprised not to see him on the field. He does not appear to be hurt.
Let me just check here. 1 of 4 so far. This is 1 of 3. This is the fourth for Brown, their man-up opportunity.
1 out of 4, if Syracuse holds here, would be the normal percentage against the Syracuse man down D, but Evans shoots high and scores. Brown has the lead again, 11-10. Goal number 4 for junior All-American David Evans.
Well, you can see why he's an All-American. He just really unloads quickly, and he goes high on Rozier, and that's one of the things that they talked about was that Evans is a superior player, and he was the man up there, and they picked up an important goal to go back into a 1-goal lead.
Evans was the first-team All-American as a sophomore in Brown history. Seems like Brown over the years has always had 1 or 2 great players, even when the team hasn't been that great. Darren Lowe back in '92 was the player of the year and the second leading scorer in Division I history. Toby Price trying to tie it for Syracuse. Like he was trying to sucker a defenseman toward him to give it up to the open man, but Brown, very patient, both ends. Won't look to gamble and double team as much as Syracuse.
Syracuse bringing in number 7,
Ryan Cummings. Kavavet has returned offensively for Syracuse.
Ward.
Cummings used that free hand to ward off the defender, which you cannot do. You saw the left hand. It's okay for Walter Payton to do that, but
yeah, right.
No good in lacrosse.
You look at Brown's man-up stats, only 4 opportunities. I've seen teams come in here and get 10 or 12, so that has not been a big problem. They've been efficient. They've gotten 2 out of 4, but Syracuse has not been penalized in a man-down situation, but they've had some penalties that have cost them possession.
Brown up by 1. Bears have never led by 2. Goodman cradling with the right hand, being hit by Schuschler. Goodman spins open, draws the double team, finds the open man. Syracuse adjusts, and the Orangemen now even up defensively.
Smith finally got a piece of the stick and knocked the ball down.
And Schuschler has it for the Orangemen. Across the field to Beardsley, and Syracuse gets it upfield to Hans Schmid. Morrissey. Kavavet to Fotopoulos, shot knocked down,
sure
penalty
like
flags back near midfield.
Awful lot of guys over there for Brown. Awful lot of bodies down there.
9 Brown.
Technical foul, offside.
9 Brown.
So Syracuse will be a man up for 30 seconds after Brown had 7 men defensively.
Syracuse 1 out of 5 in the man up. This is an important one, and it would be something that I think with 6:47 left, keep them right in the game.
Carcaterra open, shoots and scores. You can see that one. Casey Powell waited, flipped it back to Carcaterra, and he had a lot of time to pick his spot and gun it home for the tying goal.
Well, you can see when you see it how great a slide it is. I mean, they come way over. Now, look at that shooting lane. I mean, that's like 7 bodies wide, and you're just at the mercy of a guy who can crank like that. And Carcaterra hopefully is now giving them a little more life. They got a lot of time left. Now the face-offs become ever more important. Syracuse has really been, at this point, dominating. Let's see what we got. Procedure against Syracuse, so they're going to lose this attempt. Oh, they got to jump out of the box. Fotopoulos on top of 23, Martinelli.
Syracuse trying to get the right matchups defensively. A lot of confusion. Brown with the ball. We're tied at 11.
Martinelli running with Fotopoulos on him.
Beardsley really watching Evans closely as he tries to get open in front. Penalty flag flies. Shot. Deflected over the goal.
Illegal procedure! Come on, illegal procedure on the wide, too many balls!
Too many big sticks. That's what they say. Somebody said too many balls.
Illegal procedure. Illegal procedure on white. Too many long sticks.
Yeah. You can only have 4. They were trying to get a timeout, I believe. Syracuse was trying to get a timeout. But they had 5 big sticks on, and you can only have 4. 20 seconds, man down opportunity, or I should say man up opportunity for Brown. The last time they had Evans pop out from the top. He's in there over on the wing. There he is. You got to be careful now. The penalty's going to elapse right now, but now you got to pick up. Everybody jumps back into their other.
Vietta's hit came a split second late.
Oh!
Open shot, and it goes wide.
They did not pick him up at all. Number 26, Goodman, was just way out by himself.
You see the situation, about 5 minutes to go, and the game tied at 11. Big Tom Collard swinging it behind to Alex Goodman.
There's that stack again. Everybody breaks. You should see a white jersey with a brown jersey. They double behind with Schmid.
Collard uses his ball.
Oh, he's warding.
Nothing called. Wittek complaining to the nearest official. Boy, it sure looked like he had that free arm.
Yes, it
up
did.
And out.
Yes, it did. One-on-one. Now, here's where Fietta got beat before.
Goodman spins loose and scores. Alex Goodman gives Brown a 12-11 lead with 4:28 left in the game.
Mark Fietta back, and Goodman takes him out and then does an inside roll, and Rozier comes out and jumps. Goodman 2-2, and that was an important one as he gives him a 1-goal lead with 4:28 left.
Big face-off coming up with Syracuse down by a goal. Dave Signor.
Ooh, they lose it.
It's taken by the big stick Dennis Sullivan, who came in from the wing. Brian McNally. And Brown can take some time off the clock with a 1-goal lead. Martinelli spins past, passes in front, ball loose on the turf. Batted toward the end line, and it looks like Syracuse wins the race. Rozier and Beardsley going after it, and the Orangemen get the ball with 4 minutes and 2 seconds left, and Syracuse down 12-11.
That was a big possession, or a big move to get possession, because you don't want somebody to have a 2-goal lead on you with that little time left, and the way that Brown has been taking time off the clock. So Syracuse is going to have to get it together here with 3:50 left.
Good clear by Syracuse. Colsey works in front. Shot was saved. Catrano coming through again. And Brown picks up the ground ball. 3:35 left in the game. Brown trying to beat Syracuse for the first time in 8 all-time meetings, and the Bears with the ball call a timeout.
Just checking the ground ball stats, both teams have 36 and has been on the ground a bit, but now they become more important. There's Rozier, only 5 saves, his season average 16.2. And that's obviously a lot less than he has normally had. And his counterpart, Greg Catrano, 13 saves. Today, 14.5 average on the season, and he has made a number of important ones. So with Coach Lasagna's recipe for a win, he did pretty much, it's not over obviously, but that was his game plan, and it has worked pretty well. A fairly, not a low-scoring game, but certainly the tempo has been controlled at times by Brown. John Desko talking to his troops.
Well, Syracuse came into this game with a record of 3-2. Every game the Orangemen have played so far has been against a tough opponent. That's certainly the case again today. Rozier and Beardsley running out together. Rozier back toward the cage. Brown will have the ball, trying to knock off Syracuse in the dome. After 21 straight wins at home, the Orangemen in danger of having their 3rd straight dome defeat. Goodman has the ball. Fietta watches him defensively. That's been a tough matchup for Mark Fietta.
He's taking Fietta way out, and see the problem here is if he beats him, he's got to get help. It's just like an isolation. Let's see what he does with it. He's going to take it behind and does a roll, and there he's got Schmid to help on the slide, but this is very patient offense.
James Gainsbauer now. We're down to 2:53 left in the game. Riddick with a wraparound, knocked it free, and Rozier picks it up behind the goal. Toward the sideline to Hans Schmid. Way upfield to Beardsley, he makes the catch. Good clear by Syracuse. Little more than 2.5 minutes left in the game. Beardsley shoots, scores! A hat trick for Rick Beardsley. We're tied with 2:34 left in the game.
Well, you know, he's a game breaker, and he puts him back in this one with his left-handed shot. Look at that. Look at the stick work. He beats 2 defensemen, and the last guy he beats is Catrano with a left-handed shot. And that's keeping your team in the game. And, you know, he has done a good job on Evans. Evans has got some goals for, but they've not been all on Beardsley. He's been on different people. So Beardsley playing a whale of a game at this point.
Signor against Benedict for the face-off. Chad Smith has it, passes upfield to Signor. Syracuse with the ball. 2:25 left in the game. Now it's Paul Sullivan and a timeout called by the Orangemen. They'll have the ball with 2:22 left in regulation. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Syracuse has played all of its games this season against top 20 opposition, and Roy Simmons talked about his program strategy of facing the best prior to the game today.
Well, it helps us 2 ways. You can lose a ball game to the #1 team, who's Johns Hopkins, by a goal in an overtime, and not get a black eye for it. If you play Sisters of the Poor in the House of the Blind and you win, you might get slapped for playing them. If, God forbid, you stubbed your toe, then you go down in a real hurry. So by playing the best, you're going to be ready for late April and May. You're going to be in the fast lane and accustomed to it. To creep into it by picking a soft schedule for March and half of April, I don't think is the correct way to be prepared. We play the best now, we'll play the best in the end, and maybe we'll wind up being one of the best.
Johns Hopkins on top of the poll, and Hopkins a winner over a team you don't see, number 11 North Carolina today, 13-9. Maryland second going into play today, but Maryland lost at Virginia by a goal. So Virginia will move up, and Syracuse could pass Maryland if the Orangemen can pull this game out. We're tied at 12, 2 minutes, 22 seconds to go. Roy Simmons Jr.'s Orangemen have the ball.
You know, and he makes some good points. Another point is those teams have gotten better, the top 10 teams. It used to be there would be like the top 6 and the other 4. He plays everybody, and this top 10 is an excellent mix. And right now they got a chance to beat Brown, but they got to do it themselves.
5,327 looking on today. Colsey finds the opening, shoots, and it just goes wide.
Kevovit back in there behind.
19th shot of the day for Colsey. Syracuse with nearly twice as many shots as Brown. Fietta, tough angle. That's the outside of the goal. The fans saw the net move after the shot, but it was left of the post and hit the side of the goal. Brown trying to clear. Swatted from behind by Licamelli. Syracuse has the ball and a good opportunity. But Morrissey elects to slow it momentarily. Now it's Colsey. The shot and the goal. Syracuse has a 13-12 lead. Colsey with a feed. Kavovit with the go-ahead goal. 1 minute and 29 seconds remain.
You know what was smart there? Not to force the shot. The goalie was late getting back. The temptation would be take the shot, take the shot. They didn't do it. They did a nice job of setting up, and they got a much better angle and a much better shot than they would have had they forced that. That was just a great play by Syracuse. And you can see that Catrano had no play on that one.
And we've talked about the number of shots that Roy Colsey has taken today and how his shooting percentage is down this season. But sure enough, in a key situation, he takes the body, makes a great assist, and sets up the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, he was out of the box. They hadn't signified any possession yet, and one of the Brown defensemen put his foot over the line, so Syracuse will get the ball back.
Syracuse getting the lead back for the first time since the second quarter when the Orangemen led 8-7 going to the half.
They're taking another timeout. They want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what we're running, what are we going to set up, and how long can we hold on to the ball before we have to take a shot.
Yeah, that's a good point to make with 1:11 left. In Lacrosse, you can't just sit on the ball and salt out the rest of the game.
No.
You have to maintain a certain amount of aggression, at least on offense, or the officials can award the ball to the opposition. You have to keep it in the offensive box.
Yeah, you do, and they'll tell them to, if it's not in, to get it in, and then they'll tell you to keep it in, and then if you stray outside the box, you lose possession. The whole game of lacrosse is geared for action. They don't like looking at basketball or some of the other sports where you can kind of pad things out and make things kind of go slowly. The whole game of lacrosse, the concept is speed, and that's exactly what they've got in the rules. And Syracuse has got 1:11 left, and I think they're going to be taking very, very good shots and then making sure that they get back on defense. And it's Kavovit, I think, will trigger it in.
Colsey, Fietta, Powell, Sullivan, and Morrissey, Syracuse's offensive players.
Now they got to tell them to keep it in the box, get it in the box, they're there. Now that shortens the field.
Kavovit trying to pass to Colsey. He was open, the pass a bit high, but Fietta keeps it in. Fietta trying to break away from the big stick, pass upfield to Kavovit, he loses it, and the goalie, Catrano, will go back, make sure that Syracuse can't get to it, and Brown has the ball with 46 seconds left.
And Brown got everybody off. They're trying to get people back on. It's going to take them a while to get set again. Syracuse attacking the ball as there's a lot of confusion coming out of the substitutionary. That's picked off by Fietta.
Tremendous one-handed catch by Fietta. 30 seconds left in the game. Syracuse up 13-12.
Now they got to keep it in the box.
The goalie, Catrano, racing after Powell. There is no goalie in the net for Brown. Morrissey decided to hold the ball. We're down to 15 seconds left in the game. And officials' time as Casey Powell was hurt away from the ball.
Took a shot up under the face mask apparently, and he says he's all right. They'll take him out and check him over. 14 seconds left. If close games prepare you for the NC, ooh, what a shot! Right up under the face mask.
Local product Kevin Brainey knocking Powell under the mask in the Adam's apple area.
And they're going to double the ball. Colsey's going to bring the ball in, and they're going to have guys all over him, including the goalie. Timeout. Oh, no, now you didn't get the timeout.
Syracuse has the ball. Colsey running away from traffic. The clock running. 7 seconds left in the game.
He saves it in. No, Brown ball.
Brown
3
ball,
seconds.
but only 3 seconds left. Brown did not get the timeout. As Lasagna was arguing with the officials, Syracuse put the ball in play and took 11 key seconds off the clock. It's going to be tough for Brown. 3 seconds left. The Bears down by a goal. The long pass upfield, looking for a miracle tying goal. The ball bounces loose. That'll do it. Syracuse rallies in the fourth quarter, scoring the tying goal with 2:34 left and the game winner with 1:29 left.
There'll be a lot of highlights, I'll tell you. Very interesting, but you got to give Rick Beardsley credit. A defenseman scoring 3 goals at one point, 2 in a row. He played a fantastic game, and Brown is an awful tough team to contend with.
David Evans came through with 4 goals for the Bears, but Syracuse comes away with a victory. Rick Beardsley being honored as our Syracuse player of the game, not only with the hat trick, but also a solid defensive effort on Brown's star, David Evans. So the home losing streak is over. Syracuse probably up in the polls after a 1-goal victory over number 9 Brown. The final score on the Brine scoreboard, Syracuse 13 and Brown 12. For Dale Drypolcher and the entire Super Sports crew, this is Dan Hort saying thanks for watching and good afternoon from the Carrier Dome.